You're tuned in to Ask the Good Doctor, live each and every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 10 a.m. Pacific. Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire is here to answer your questions live.
Good afternoon. It's Wellness Wednesday, and I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. How are you all? Thank you so much for joining me here. I am here to help you attain, maintain, and reclaim your perfect health. So grab your Good Doctor notebook. We are embarking on a subject today that none of us has escaped, and this is our mental health, our mental wellness, and the need to pay more attention for those who may be suffering because of mental illness. And it may not always show. So please join me on Twitter at Ask the Good Doc, on Instagram and Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor. We want you to jump into this conversation and please share this episode. This is vital, life-saving information. As we sit here on this day, and I am really saddened, but as you all know now, Miss USA, Chelsea Christ, has died by suicide at age of 30. It is reported that she jumped from a 60-floor building, her apartment building in New York City. I was saddened beyond belief to hear this news. This news came to me on a Sunday afternoon, cooking in my kitchen, right after I had had the conversation with the two women you are going to meet today. And that just proved this conversation even more urgent and more necessary. We need therapy in this world. We need not to make therapy be a stigma. It is not to be stigmatized. If you need help, reach out for help. You are not weak if you need therapy and ask for help. The people who are the strongest are the people who probably need to be checked in on more than anyone else. It is said of Chelsea that she was the brightest light in the room and that it seemed like she never did have a bad day. It was also said of that a couple of weeks ago, the same thing was said of Ian, who was the son of Regina King, the actress, whose son also died by suicide a couple of weeks ago. This is a rampant occurrence. We should never lose a life because someone feels like they're hurt and like they're hopeless. And I just want to introduce to you today our first guest. Her name is Freda, and Freda is a woman who has overcome the difficulty of the loss of a child. Freda Chavis. Hi, Freda.
Hello, Dr. Brookshire. How are you today?
I am well, thank you. And also joining us is Malane Shani, who is the woman who helped her through that difficult time. Hello, Malane.
Hi, Dr. Brookshire.
Malane is a love and life strategist, a healer, a life and relationship coach who has a well-developed sense of intuition. I just love that part. And she is the woman who helped Freda through some of her darkest times. Freda, it's testimony time. So share with us your personal testimony about the loss of your son.
Okay. On January the 4th, 2013. I'm going to try to do this without getting emotional, but if I do, it's okay.
Feel free. It's a
Uh,
free cry zone.
yes. I I had gotten up to fix breakfast for my two sons, and I was calling the one who's a prankster. He always plays jokes and tricks on me, and he wouldn't answer. So I said, "That collie, he's always playing jokes, playing tricks on me." So he wouldn't answer. I kept calling him. I said, "Boy, stop playing. Come on in here and get this breakfast while it's hot." And he wouldn't respond. So I went in the room and I said, "Boy, get your butt up out that bed. Why you always playing with me?" And I was smiling when I was saying it. And he wouldn't move. And this particular day, so I went over there and I shook him. He wouldn't move. And I shook him and I shook him and he wouldn't move. And I looked on the side of him and he was turning blue. And I just buckled. My knees just left from under me. And I hit the floor. And so I called my other son. I said, "Jemani, please come in the room. Something's wrong with Carly." I called him Carly. His name was Carlos, but I called him Carly. I said, "Come in the room. Something's wrong with Carly." And so he came in and he looked on the side and he saw he was turned blue and his face was like, like he was having pain and he just died like that with his face looking that way. And so he buckled and kept screaming and hollering, "Carlos, wake up, Carly, please don't do this to me." And he just screamed and hollered. And I really, I don't even know how I could even tell this story because I was so out of it. I don't even, but I remember it. So anyway, we called.
It's okay. Take your time.
We called the ambulance. They came. And they said they pronounced him dead. And they asked us to leave the room. So they seemed like they stayed in that room for days, which was really hours. But I guess they had to do whatever they had to do. So they asked us to leave out. So some of my friends came by and we were standing outside. It was very cold that day. But we stood out there. It seemed like it was 3 or 4 hours. And then they came out and said that they were ready to the white truck came. I guess the examiner's truck. And
Yes.
they took him out. And my son was saying, "I want to help them take him out. I want to help them take him out." And they were like, "No, you can't help. I need to help. I need to help." And he was just going through. It hurt me to watch how he was handling it. I couldn't say anything because I was numbed. And so they took him out and they called us back the next day and said he had died. They called it some fancy term. But anyway, it was really he had had a heart attack. And so they wanted to do an autopsy for further because he had a blood clot in his leg and he was off work due to him having this issue with his leg. So they were trying to see if it was connected to that so that I could possibly go to the job and get, assistance from them for what had happened. But they came back and said it had nothing to do with the blood clot, that he just had a heart attack. Anyway, I remember the night before we were sitting in the kitchen and he used to like to drink Grey Goose.
Oh my gosh.
So I said to him, I said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm going to go to bed. I got to go to work tomorrow." And he says, "Okay, Mom." He says, "I'm just going to sit in here and have my drink and relax my nerves." That's his favorite saying. "I'm just going to relax my nerves." He would drink Grey Goose with just a splash of cranberry juice. If you put 2 splashes, it was too much. Like, what difference does 1 splash versus 2 splashes make? It just ain't right. It got to be the right color and it got to be the right taste. I said, "I know you don't think you tasting no 1 splash of cranberry juice." But in his mind, he tasted one splash of cranberry. It was what it had to be. So I was like, whatever. So I had to go to work the next morning. So I wasn't having no drinks. He used to like me to sit and drink with him. Of course, I had
Yes.
to have a lot of cranberry juice. But
Hmm.
anyway, I said, I got to work in the morning. I can't have no drinks with you because I couldn't.
Fast forward past his death. And I want to thank you for recalling this situation with dry eyes. And that's only the strength that you have attained over time.
Yes. 'Cause I
Okay.
couldn't even
Because
stop.
there was a moment when you didn't think you were going to make it. Tell us more.
Oh my God. Well, when the smoke cleared, the dust settled, I began to go into a very deep depression. Um, Number one, another reason why I went into that deep depression was not only the fact that I had lost my son, but I didn't have any money to bury him.
Mm.
That's another thing that's extremely important for our community.
Yep.
Take some life insurance out on your children.
Yep.
You're not going to believe this. I had a policy on him for $25,000 that I had on him since he was a little boy. And it canceled in December, and he died in January.
Oh my gosh.
And I had that policy since he was a little wet, maybe 2 or 3 year old child. And what had happened was he had asked me to cancel it because he says he had a $250,000 life insurance policy on himself because he had just moved down here with me from DC. And so he brought me all this paperwork, and I was surprised that he had brought all this paperwork with this, and this is my life insurance, and this is all of this, like he knew he was going to die.
Oh
But he
my.
had always told me years prior to that, Mom, I'm not going to live to be old. I'm really surprised that I'm living as long.
Really?
Yes, he told me that for years. I'm not going to be old. I'm not going to live to be an old person. I already know it. I'm really surprised that I even made this age. And he would say, when he was 30, 31, 32, 30. We got to 36. And believe it or not, he gave me those papers maybe like a week or two before. And he died. But the sad part about it was when I called the insurance company, they told me that the policy was good for. They said, well, how did he die, Miss Chavis? I said, he died from a heart attack. Oh, I'm so sorry. We can't pay out. And I was like, what? And they said they couldn't pay out because it was for accidental death. So he didn't even realize the type of policy that he had taken out. He thought it was a good policy. Mom, I'm going to leave you straight. You're not going to have to worry about that $250. $1,000 should be all right. It should take you, don't spend it on me. I want you to save it and spend it on you and my brother. Cremate me. I don't want no elaborate funeral. Don't do none of that. Just put me in my polo sweatsuit, put my baseball cap on, because he was from DC. Put my DC, whatever the baseball team is, put my cap on, and I want you to do it just like that. And he gave me all the instructions, how he wanted, what he wanted, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Fast forward, they told me that they couldn't pay the policy out. So now I'm even more devastated. I don't have no money. I just let the policy lapse. I don't know what I'm going to do. So anyway, my coworkers helped me deal with that. My son died on January the 4th. I buried him February the 22nd.
Wow.
That's how long I had to deal with that.
Yes.
That made it even worse because
I was going to say that adds to the emotional stressor.
Yes.
The emotional strain. Malane, say more about that. I see you want to chime in here.
Yeah, I mean, when you have you already have a death in your family and you're grieving, your son is gone, and then you have to, now you don't have the money to bury them. That's a double hit. And so when Freda, she'll talk about how depressed she was and how deep and dark that was for her. When you have a double hit like that, it's like, first, like, I can make it through my son. Oh, now I can't bury my son, right? So even if you had hope, now you have another thing that you have to deal with, and that can take you even deeper into the space. So now you're like, there's no hope. I can't even bury my son. So now you're in a deeper space of, I might as well not even try.
Okay. And
so
from there,
okay, go ahead.
Freda, those feelings of hopelessness, is that what led you to feel suicidal?
That's exactly what led me to feel suicidal. It was like, not only did he go, I can't even put him away in a way that, would honor him. Even if I did cremate him, I couldn't do anything. That cremation was $3,000 some dollars.
Sure.
And at the time, I didn't even have that. So I was even more depressed because financially I wasn't in a position to do what I needed to do, because, I felt like I should have been able to take money out of a checking or savings account and take care of my business. So now I'm feeling even more depressed because now I'm feeling like I'm raggedy. My finances, I'm just coming down on myself even more. You don't even have your stuff together where you could bury your son. So everything I could possibly think of, I was just jugging at myself. I was just downing myself. I was just thinking, so I was spiraling out of control. It was like, you're not even in control of anything of your life. You couldn't control your son's death. You can't control burying him. You can't control your finances. You can't control anything. So what are you good for?
Oh,
absolutely nothing. You're not even the type of mother that can even do right by your child. What is wrong with you? What kind of mother are you? What kind of person are you? I went through all kinds of crap that I put myself through.
Yes.
And it had nothing to do with that. What it had to do with was the fact that I had other issues underlying it. Had nothing to do with him.
And because of the death, they surfaced.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, is when you have that pain, when you have pain you haven't dealt with, when you have something that happens like that, you're going to bring that pain up. So it's like now you have, it's like more pain. It's like it's amplified pain.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's why you're having that conversation with yourself. Because if you hadn't dealt with that pain, and the pain because we had to work through it and deal with it, but if you hadn't dealt with all of that pain in you, if you had dealt with that, then it would have still been horrible. Of course, you lost your son, but you wouldn't have spiraled out on yourself like that. That's so important that we deal with this. The pain is taking over and it's unconscious. When people come into my office and they say, I'm dealing with this, and this, I said, okay, so that's what you know. So let's get to what you don't know.
Yes.
That's what's wreaking havoc on you, is what you don't know. Because if you know, of course you're going to change it. You're going to do something about it. And that's what most people don't know. And that's what Freda didn't know, is that, you have all of this unconscious pain. And when your son goes and you can't bury him, and now you're going to just spiral out of control, because it's like, I have this pain, my son is going, this is going, that. But really what you're saying is, this happened when I was 10, and that happened when I was 8. And this person did that to me and this to me. And now it's just compounding and compounding. And so now there's, like you said, Dr. Brookshire, now there's no hope. There's no hope because you have 50 years of pain, not a month, not right there in the moment. You got 50 years of pain coming up like an explosion. It's like a ticking time bomb. It's like tick, 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 boom.
Yes.
Okay? And so that situation with your son and with you not being able to bury him, it stopped your ticking, and the bomb went off.
Yes.
The bomb went off.
And the bomb was the death of your son.
Yes.
And the residue were multiple injuries to your soul.
Yes. Exactly.
They were soul injuries.
Yes. Oh my God.
And Freda, when you looked up and realized that you were suicidal, had you gone as far to plan anything?
Well, how mine happened, the way I approached my being suicidal, was I wasn't courageous enough to just kill myself.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of nerve.
Yeah.
I wanted mine to be a slow death. I wanted to drink myself to death. I figured if I put enough poison in me, that I would wake up or not wake up like he didn't. Not saying that the poison killed him, But the last thing I remember was I'm going to have a drink to relax my nerves. So I figured if
Yes.
I had a drink to relax my nerves, maybe I won't wake up either.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
was the mindset I was having. So I was trying to go
Wow.
back through that same feelings of having a drink and not waking up. But it
Mm.
didn't happen that way. I kept
Mm-hmm.
waking up and I kept having drinks and I just kept waking up and I kept having drinks. And before I knew it, I was drinking. My drinking got so out of hand. And if I wasn't drinking, I was shopping because I
Mm.
wanted to find something that brought relief to me, something that brought some joy to me. If it wasn't but for 5 minutes, when I opened up those 10,000 boxes that were sitting outside of my door from Amazon every day, I figured that would make me happy. And
Mm.
lo and behold, it did absolutely nothing but give me 5 minutes of this. And I threw it in a corner. And before I knew it, all my corners in every room in my house, I had no more corners.
Wow.
I was a hoarder.
Okay.
I couldn't walk through my house because
Yes.
I was stepping all over everything.
Wow.
Because
Yes.
that's how it got out of control. That was another way of me not dealing with my pain and other things that I had been dealing with that didn't even know I was dealing with.
Yeah.
So
And it was also a way for you to control, because you can control buying things, you can control what's around you. You put this big gate of protection around you. You could, those attachment, those things couldn't leave you. They were right there where you could see them every day, and you felt some sense of, even though it didn't give you a permanent sense, it gave you a temporary sense of,
Yes.
I'm loved by these things, or I have things around me that I love. While you're trying to drink yourself, that you're surrounding yourself, almost building like a fort around yourself of
Mm-hmm.
protection, because you didn't feel protected in your heart, in your feelings. So you're building a protection, but it's like you said, it was temporary. So you had to keep doing it, keep buying, keep getting that temporary, gratification. And a lot of people do that.
Yes.
They keep buying. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. You would say,
Yeah.
when you're saying about the buying, that
Yes.
is the trigger to let you know that it's temporary.
It's temporary.
right.
That's what lets you know that I'm masking.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's how we get to the place where we are in a space where we cannot help ourselves. Like we let our mental and emotional just go over the edge, because we've created all of these temporary things that we feel like gratify us until we can't anymore. When
That's
your
right.
body is full of emotional energy, it's going to start giving you physical symptoms. A lot of times when people are right at the brink of that emotional energy, they start having what they call panic attacks.
That's right.
Right? Their bodies start to react to the emotional energy. And so they're dealing with the physical, right? They're dealing with how they're feeling physically, but it's not a physical thing. I had a client that was dealing with panic attacks. Every time he did something, went to work or anything, he had a panic attack. When he was in the house, he was fine.
The
But
job.
when he went out, he was having a panic attack. And I said, he wanted to deal with the physicality. He wanted to get some medicine, something to stop the attack. And I said, well, why don't we look at why you're having this attack? What's at the root of this?
Yes.
What's going on at work? Because that's where you mostly have it. What's going on when you're out, and about? What are you feeling? And so we were able to get to the bottom of it, and he no longer had panic attacks and didn't have to be medicated. So it's really about being willing to acknowledge and become aware of how you feel.
That's it.
And people don't want to talk about feelings and emotions. I have a hard time with
Oh my gosh.
to talk about their feelings and emotions, but you have, and when you acknowledge and become aware of how you feel, that's not the end of it. That's just the beginning. That's not the healing. A lot of people think, oh, I didn't even know that was happening, so I'm healed. No. You gotta do your work.
The work begins now.
Now the work begins.
Yes.
When you acknowledge and you are aware, now the work begins. And one of the things we did with Freda, Freda was, I used to call Freda my problem child, right? Because Freda would come to sessions and then she would be gone. right? She come to sessions and then she be gone, right? And then she showed up one day and she was like, listen, I'm ready to do my work, right? And Freda came in there and did her work. And I'm telling you, she is the best. Like, she is now coming into the coaching program and getting ready to help women with grief. But she decided to do her work. And one of the things we did with her is we wanted her to see herself through her own eyes.
Yes.
A lot of people are seeing themselves through the eyes of others. She saw herself through the eyes of her son. You see how she talked to us about him? She was seeing herself as a mom. I'm his mom. I cook for him. I sit and drink with him. He talks to me. That's how she saw herself. That was her identity. And it's nothing wrong with loving your son in that way, but you got to have your own space where you see yourself through your own eyes. Who are you to you? Right? And so we sit Freda to the mirror, like, find yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Find your soul, like, look into your eyes until you see yourself through your eyes.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I have noticed that many people cannot look themselves in the mirror and give themselves positive affirmation. They cannot give themselves positive self-talk by looking in the mirror. They do not like what they see in return. Hence, it stops them from progressing. It stops them their growth in this life. But I want you ladies to pause right here. We are going to take a very brief break. And when we come back, Malane is going to talk about how Freda has overcome to the point of wanting to be a practitioner herself. Don't go away. We'll be back right after this message. Hello, everyone. This is the whole farm to table concept here at The Essence.
The fruits of the spirit have been reignited inside of me. So I'm walking out of here with my joy, with my peace, and my love. So I am a better mother, a better wife when I go back home.
Yes, that is the Wellness Warriors Weekend Getaway that we will be having in Vermont this year, June 23rd through 26th. Very limited numbers. Interested in being there? Send me an email, drbrookshire@outlook.com. That's drbrookshire@outlook.com. Well, we are having a wonderful conversation, enlightening, in fact, with Malane Shani, who is a love and life strategist and a life and relationship coach, in addition to Freda Chavis, who sought Malane's help when she was going down a very dark path. I want to thank these two ladies for joining me today. And we have been talking about coping with multiple losses, just grief, loss, death, dying, one thing after another. And isn't that the season that we find ourselves in today? I mean, we are experiencing more loss and more grief as a nation collectively than ever before. And like Malane says, is that it has amplified pain. Death amplifies our inner pain. Well, the Grief and Loss website, griefandloss.com website says multiple grief comes in many different forms, like multiple deaths within a short period of time. And that's the season that we're all currently in. Whether within a family or amongst friends, or even just public figures that we see who we count as friends. You know, there's your girlfriend in your head, right? That's the way it is. And a combination of a death in a family, like a divorce or a separation, a loss of a job, that's a huge grief, an accident, a diagnosis, a chronic illness. All of these things are very stressful. Maybe the loss of a baby through a miscarriage, loss of a pet even. That's a loss, a huge loss. Children leaving home, where people are feeling a loss of their identity and unable to, as Malane says, stand in that mirror and speak to it, what it is that they see, calling it out, naming the feeling. When I was in chaplain school, the one thing that we used as an exercise was to name it. Name it. Have the patient name the feeling that they're feeling. You'll just say, oh, I've got the blahs. What does that mean?
Right.
That's right.
Mm.
How important is that, Malane?
It is key. It is key. But the first thing that people have to do is, one of the reasons why people don't like to look at themselves in the mirror is because they're not looking at themselves, as I said, through their own eyes. They're looking at if they didn't have a good relationship with their mother, father, what they said, or if they weren't good in school, what was said, or if they didn't have good relationships, what was said. So that's what they see in the mirror. So they won't be able to name how they're feeling because they don't even want to touch it. So the thing is first to get to yourself. So one of the ways that I did that, it was so powerful when I was working with my mentors to heal my own life. And they had me go to the mirror. And of course, I was like everybody else. I'm like, why? But what they said to me is get close and look into your eyes. Don't look, at your cosmetic feature. Get close, right? And look into find yourself. You should be able to see yourself inside of your pupils. And it took me about 3 months to see myself inside I couldn't see my reflection at all. And once I saw my reflection, before I saw my reflection, all kinds of stuff was coming up. But once I saw my reflection, I called them. I was like, oh my God, I see myself. I saw myself in the mirror. Like, I was so excited because in that moment, then I could name it.
Yes.
I could name what I was feeling. If I don't see myself, if I can't get in tune and see myself through my own eyes, how am I going to name what I'm feeling?
Yes.
Right? Yes. I can't name it. I'm not even in tune with a feeling. I'm in my head. I'm going to explain to you what I'm thinking. And so one of the things I do is help my clients to figure out, what am I feeling rather than what I'm thinking, and reconnect with your emotions, reconnect and remember how to feel, how to open yourself up, because there's so much amazing things in there. I said, when you first get in the mirror, of course, you're going to hear some craziness. But when you stay there, you're going to hear some good stuff. And you want to stay tuned for that. You want to stay tuned for your spirit speaks, right? When your spirit speaks, you want to hear that. And that's one of the things we help Freda do. When she came, I was like, listen, I saw such an amazing, dynamic, wonderful woman who had so much potential, who wanted to help people, who loved people. And I was like, listen, you got to remember the vision. Remember that you were born for something. Remember that you don't have to deserve or be worthy. You deserve it and you're worthy because you were born. Spirit put everything inside of you that you need to do what you came here to do, to be who you came here to be. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. Who are you?
Yes.
Who do you need to be?
You know what, Freda?
Over this grief.
That's right. And Freda, we call what you have experienced in walking down this road potentially towards suicide, and then it being halted. And the fact now that basically you've recovered from feeling those feelings and experiencing those thoughts, you are the best person ever to help others. We call that being a wounded healer.
Yes, I believe that.
The wounded healer. And that now that you have come on the other side and you are ready to help women, tell us all about it.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, that was not what I thought that I was going to be doing, helping women deal with the loss of children. But God obviously knew that that's what he brought me here to do. So I take the challenge. I welcome it. I feel like I'm definitely equipped to handle it.
Oh, for sure.
I'm excited if it's just one woman, just to make her realize that she is more than just a mother, that she has purpose. She has, she's here for whatever she was put here for, not just to be a mother to that child, that she's here to live her life. She's here to fulfill her destiny. She's here for a purpose outside of being a mother. There's something greater than just that. That's not who we are. That's what we are. We are mothers, but we're more than that.
Yeah, yeah.
I am more than a mother.
Mm.
I am a
Yes.
wonderful gardener. I
Mm.
am a great decorator. I'm a
Mhm.
fantastic cook.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
am a wonderful person that if you want to create a beautiful atmosphere in your home or an event space, I am the person that can help you to fulfill that. So I have many talents, but at that time, all I thought I had the talent to do was just be a mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was feeling like. I have nothing to live for. I don't have anything going for me. I don't have, but that's because I didn't understand that that's not who I was. When I began
Yes.
to focus on who I was,
Yeah.
then I began to see the talents and the skills and the benefits and the beauty that I brought to this world, that I bring to this world. Other
Yes.
than being a mother, I am so many wonderful things. And so
Yes.
when I began to understand that and identify with that through Malane's help, now I see that I have many things to live, many reasons to live for.
Amen to Malani's help. Let
Amen.
me just step in right here on the help.
Yes.
Because this
Mhm.
is the problem with our community, oh, it's taboo to get the help.
Taboo.
There's such a negative connotation associated with it that's the thing. We got to stop that.
Guys.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with getting the help. Malane, I'm sure that you're helping many. How can one reach out to you for help if they need it?
So you can reach out to me, call me at 678-862-2242. And we're also starting a new initiative. It's called Unlock My Life and Live. So that's a new initiative that we're starting because of the suicide rates, because I hear that so much from people that I don't know why I'm here. And so we're helping people to understand or understand why they're here. So you can go to unlockyourlifeandlive.com. It's a new initiative that we're working on, and we're very excited about it. Also, I want to say this: asking for support and help is a power move.
That's
I
right.
tell clients all the time, I said, it takes strength and courage. It is not a
Yes.
weakness to ask for help. You are making a power move on your life. You're saying, I am worth living. You're saying, I have, value. You're saying, I'm worthy. Whatever it is that someone else is telling you that you're not, when you reach out for support and help for you to get your life, that is a power move. Everything begins and ends with you, right? We have spirit, we have God that has created everything that we need. Take ownership of your life, take ownership of your healing. Your body, your mental faculties, your emotional bodies were all made to heal itself, right? But
Amen.
to get guidance, it's time for you to graduate. I tell people, anytime you feel depressed, it's not because your life is over, it's because your life wants to have a new beginning. So
Yeah.
you have to
Yes.
let go of the old and embrace the you.
Yeah.
Embrace the real you, not that person that you thought you were, that you were told you were, that your experience said you were. You have to embrace the real you. And the only way you can do that is to take ownership. So, you know what? I'm taking ownership of my life. I'm taking ownership of every single thing that has happened in my life. Because when you take ownership, you can change it anytime you get ready. When you're blaming
Woo!
people, you cannot
Wow.
change it because you're sitting around waiting for them to come and apologize or make things right or tell you you're good. But when you take ownership, you're like, I wonder why I created that situation, or I wonder
Mm.
what that came to teach me, or I wonder why that person came to show me that, right? So that I can grow. Listen, take ownership of it all. Change can happen overnight. Listen to what I'm saying.
Say,
Change can happen overnight. It is the resistance to change that takes time. If you want to change your life,
Yes.
you can decide in this moment. Freda had to make a choice. She
Yep.
said, you know what,
I did.
Malane, I want to change my life. And you
Yep.
know what
amen.
I said to her? I said, spirit's work is guaranteed.
Yes.
My work is guaranteed. Is your work guaranteed? That's all
Woo!
we need. That's
And
all
if
we need.
I had to say amen, I think I put one right
Amen.
there.
Right there. Okay.
Amen right there. Hey,
Yeah,
see, it goes right there.
right
Thank you all.
Amen.
Ladies, I can't thank you enough. for your transparency, for laboring in the vineyard and doing this work, and for being available to help others. So I'm going to have your information down below. I want to thank you both for being here. That's our time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much. Stay with me backstage. I hope that you learned a lot from this. The suicide prevention hotline number is 1-800-273-8255. Once again, the suicide prevention hotline number is 1-800-273-8255. Remember, as Malane has said, reaching out for help is a power move. If you need the help, please reach out for some. Much is available to you. I'd like to thank my team today. IW supervising producer, Chris Green, technical producer, and Chris Brown, announcer. That does it for me. To let your eyes shine, cut back on the wine, get good food fast, and go easy on the greasy. Until next time, I'm Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, here to help you attain and maintain your perfect health. Let's do it again next week, okay? God bless you.